there, it's Whitney. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different because I don't have a writing tip for you, but I wanted to talk about something that all of us as business owners have an opinion on and have personally dealt with. And this topic kind of came to mind last night as I was watching the HBO documentary on Dr. Dre called The Defiant Ones, which is really, really good so far if you haven't seen it. But it's the story about how they got started, how Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine, who's the founder of Interscope Records and a record producer, how they kind of got started and their relationship and their business success. And the nutshell version of this story that really irked me and really got me stressed out as I was sitting in this hotel bed watching it last night is that Jimmy Iovine, he basically got his big break because he was willing to give up Easter Sunday with his family. And his boss at the time, he was doing some lowly entry-level work at a record company. It's obviously really hard to make it in the music industry. And his boss asked him last minute to come in on Easter Sunday. And he was young, and at the time, so he asked his mom, and his mom said, no, we have our big Italian family coming over for Easter, and it's important that you're here. And Jimmy went anyway. And his boss was, when he got there, he was really impressed that he gave up his Easter, that he, said, this shows your commitment, so we're going to give you this new role. It was just a test to see if you'd come in. And I hated that so much because I have always been really stubborn about the fact that I don't think you need to give up so much of your personal life for business success. And I think in the United States especially, our work culture is pretty messed up. And we ask people to give up way too much of their lives for their work. And as somebody that I love working hard. That's when I feel best, is when I finish a day and I've gotten a lot done. That's when I feel fulfillment out of what I'm doing. So I'm not talking about not working hard. I'm not talking about, living that totally fake lifestyle where everything runs on autopilot and you don't have to work and you make money. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about giving up Easter Sunday with your family. And that sometimes that's the only way for your boss to feel like you're committed. I completely opt out of that sort of culture. And that's sort of one of my driving forces for having my business, because I want to have a business where I'm really serious about work and I'm really serious about refining my craft and working really hard, but I don't want to have to give up, my personal life. I think 40 hours is a lot of life a week to devote to your work, and I think that's enough. So it just really, I really didn't like seeing that. It reminded me of the reality that I think we have in our certainly our corporate world, even the entrepreneur world. So that's kind of what made me want to share this video and talk about boundaries. And just give you a couple of mine that really help in my business. And a boundary can be, pretty much anything. It's a pretty general term, but it's something that you essentially say no to. And you decide this up front so that it's not ever uncomfortable. You don't waste time being like, oh, should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? Because that's never a fun place to be if you're not sure how to react. So it's just kind of a set of things that you say no to in your business in honor of your life or your family or your loved ones or your other passions that you have outside of work. So one of my most treasured, most important boundaries is a time boundary. Work, I think, expands to fill whatever container you give it. So about a year ago, I kind of made my own container that works for my life. So what I do is I never work on Sundays. It's not a religious thing. It's just I love the idea of having some quiet downtime before the work week begins to cook, to read, to go to brunch, to do whatever I want. But just work will never creep in there. And I also don't work after 8 p.m. This I found out kind of the hard way, but my brain just takes a long time to slow down. And so if I work up till I'm about to go to sleep, I don't really sleep. And my brain is just, I'm lying in bed wide awake with ideas. Sometimes it's good, sometimes there are ideas or I'm really inspired. It's not always stressful, but I need that sleep in order to have a productive day. So those are kind of my two big boundaries. Is I never work on Sundays, so I wouldn't have gotten that Jimmy promotion by going in on Easter Sunday, because it just would have been like, no, I'm sorry, I don't work on Sundays. That makes it an easy no. And don't work past 8 p.m. I always shut down by that point. Another boundary that I've started incorporating is sticking a little tighter to the projects, the agreements that I agree to with clients. This is always hard. I think any service provider knows that it's really hard when a client asks you for something that you could do, like you're totally capable of doing it, but it's beyond what you agreed to. It's beyond what they have paid for or how you budgeted your time or any of that. It's always really hard, and it's sometimes a fine line between when you just do something because you want to go above and beyond and you want to provide, just wonderful service, but sometimes you really need to stick to and honor what you agreed upon. And just remind them of that. So to make it easy on myself, I wrote a couple templates. I have one that I just call my scope creep template. So if somebody contacts me, for example, they'll say, these emails look great, can you schedule them for next week? And I don't offer the implementation, so I don't schedule emails. I'm not the best tech person, so you wouldn't want me doing that anyway. But I just have a script that now I can copy and paste and customize a little if I need. That is a way of saying no because this is outside our agreement, but that's still really kind and really warm and all the things that I want when I'm communicating with somebody. So it just takes the sting out of it for me. It makes it a lot easier than trying to think through how to say it whenever that happens. I also have a script that I use when clients or collaborators or anybody like that sends me a text message or sends me a message on Instagram or on Facebook, because I really like all my communication to be through email. This just keeps it super organized. It keeps me from losing track of anything. When it's all in email, like I know where everything is, I know where to find things. If I've got messages all over the place, it just doesn't work out that well. So I've got a script that's saved in the notes section on my phone that I can just easily copy and paste. That's a really nice way to say, like, awesome, thanks for reaching out. Please just shoot me an email and I'll get back to you when I'm back at work or when I'm next in the office. So that really helps too. And then one other thing I've started using that I really like and found really helpful is I've been using Google Voice. So I think like all of us, I use my personal cell phone for work. And when I started out, I gave out my personal number to everyone. I had it on my business cards, I had it on my website, just because I didn't know there was another way. I didn't want to get a whole separate cell phone, so I just gave my personal number out. And Google Voice is a way to still use your same phone, but just separate work and business a little bit. So it's a free service. It sets you up with a different phone number that then forwards to your phone. So people can call my work number. It still comes through to my phone, but it's just nice that they don't have my personal number. I don't know. It's essentially the same thing, but it feels different. And that feeling makes a big difference for me. So it's also nice because you can set some dead zones. So for me, I think I have it between like 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. It will go straight to voicemail if you call my work number, because there's no copywriting emergency that you need me at 3 a.m. So I think that's really nice too, that I never have to worry about, that happening. So yeah, check out Google Voice if you're using your personal cell phone. I would check that out super soon because it's really nice. It's a really nice feature. So those are kind of the main boundaries that I've been sticking to and that have been really helpful, is having those edges around the time that I work, just being really clear about what kind of work I do for clients and having a way that feels good if we're going outside of that, and then using Google Voice to just redirect my phone calls. So I'd really, really love to hear from you in this one and hear what sort of boundaries you have, what works for you, and also hear your thoughts on the whole work and personal life debate, whether we're on the same page, we're both stubborn about this, and we're both like, no way, I can work really hard, but I don't have to put in so much of my life, or whether I'm just being unrealistic and the world is the way that it is and we should adapt to it instead of trying to fight it and create our own system. Because I think there's valid points on both sides, but would really like to hear what you think and what sort of boundaries and tools and systems work for you to keep work and personal. So hope you liked the video, hope you're having an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.